In 1851, a man named Edward Hargraves stumbled upon a glinting discovery that would change Australia forever. Bathurst, a modest settlement, became the epicenter of a gold rush, igniting dreams of wealth and opportunity. Hargraves, digging in the waters of the Macquarie River, unearthed golden flakes, and with that he struck gold, quite literally. News spread like wildfire. The dream of easy riches captured the imagination of thousands. Suddenly, Australia transformed. The economy surged as gold became the catalyst for a revolution. Towns sprang up around Goldfields, bustling with activity, commerce, and chaos. People from every corner of the globe packed their bags and left everything behind, lured by the promise of fortune. From Britain's industrial cities to China's vast provinces, they arrived in droves, an influx of hopefuls desperate to strike it rich. This migration altered not just demographics, but also the very fabric of Australian society. The population swelled, doubling within just a year. Newly minted gold seekers brought diverse cultures, languages, and aspirations. Yet alongside hope thrived greed. The rush bred fierce competition and ignited human ambition like nothing seen before. With dreams in their eyes, men and women turned to the goldfields, keen on claiming their share of wealth, never fully grasping the perils that lay ahead. But not everyone found fortune. The reality of gold mining was harsh. Many faced grueling labor, long hours under the relentless sun, and backbreaking work. Tensions escalated as fortune seekers fought over claims, often resorting to violence. The once peaceful landscape transformed into a battleground of greed and betrayal. Those with fewer resources quickly discovered that striking gold required more than luck. It demanded grit and courage. The government recognized the potential economic leverage of the gold rush. They rushed to establish goldfields, paving the way for infrastructure development. New roads emerged, crisscrossing the land, connecting remote camps with the hustle of burgeoning cities. Towns like Ballarat and Bendigo sprouted rapidly, their populations swelling as makeshift shelters turned into bustling communities overnight. Digging out gold became not just a personal endeavor, but a matter of national interest. Yet, amidst the frenzy, a darker side emerged. Corruption seeped into the system. Licensing fees to mine gold became a source of discontent. Officials, often corrupted by the allure of wealth, exploited the miners. For many, the dream of gold morphed into a nightmare of exploitation and betrayal. This clash between the people's dreams and the government's greed simmered beneath the surface. As the wealth poured into the colonies, so too did the challenges multiply. Lawlessness took root. As immigrants settled, tensions flared, leading to unrest and discontent. Encouraged by tales of opulence from the goldfields, settlers regularly found themselves at the mercy of unscrupulous merchants and deceptive contracts. The gold rush had initiated an unprecedented era of economic growth, but the very dreams that poured into the goldfields were tainted by betrayal. How far would individuals go, driven by greed, and what unforeseen consequences would follow in their wake? The quest for gold was just beginning, but beneath the surface, a tempest was brewing. What would happen when the illusion of wealth clashed with the harsh realities of greed? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into the human heart of the great Australian gold rush. Life on the goldfields was a paradox of promise and peril. Makeshift camps sprang up, transforming the Australian bush into bustling hubs of activity. Tents, shanties, and wooden structures crowded the landscape. Dust clouds swirled around eager miners, their clothes stained from long hours of labor. Each day brought the rhythmic clinking of picks against rocks and the shouts of men hoping to strike it rich. But beneath this frantic quest for gold lay a more troubling reality. Conditions were harsh. The prospectors faced not only unforgiving weather, but also limited access to fresh water and adequate food. Sickness spread quickly through the camps, and hygiene was nearly non-existent. A sense of camaraderie flourished in some pockets, but so did desperation and conflict. With every gold nugget found, rivalries intensified. Women and families played crucial roles in these turbulent environments. They weren't just bystanders, they were vital to the camp's survival. Women cooked, washed clothes, and cared for the children, while also running businesses that catered to miners. They set up boarding houses, shops, and laundries, forming a backbone for the fledgling communities. Families, often fleeing poverty or turmoil back home, sought hope in the goldfields, only to find the same voracious hunger for wealth that had driven the men into the dirt. Indigenous communities who had lived on the land for generations faced new, devastating realities. The influx of miners led to violent clashes over land and resources. Sacred sites were desecrated, and the ecological balance was disrupted. As miners staked their claims, they often disregarded the rights and customs of indigenous peoples. Tensions boiled over as both sides fought for their very survival, transforming the goldfields into arenas of conflict and betrayal. Amidst the chaos, a unique culture began to emerge among the miners. It was a melting pot of languages, traditions, and dreams. The camaraderie forged in shared hardship partially offset the rivalries. Songs of hope and toil echoed through the camps at night. Miners shared stories of their hometowns, their dreams, and the fortune they sought. With every sunrise, they awoke to a shared purpose, rallying together in the face of adversity. As wealth flowed from the mines, cities began to grow. Towns like Ballarat and Bendigo transformed from dusty outposts into bustling centers of commerce. Yet for every ounce of gold extracted, corruption seeped into the system. Some miners reaped the rewards, while many were left to scrape by, preyed upon by opportunists in barrooms and the burgeoning black market. Authorities struggled to maintain order amidst the lawlessness, fostering a climate of distrust and desperation. The rush consumed lives. Some struck gold, only to lose it all through negligence, theft, or poor judgment. The scales of success and failure tipped uneasily across the goldfields, often leaving broken dreams in their wake. And over the chaos loomed the specter of greed, shaping destinies and driving men and women to extreme lengths. What would happen when the dreams of wealth became too alluring to resist? As the gold rush surged forward, so too did darker ambitions. Conflicts would escalate, alliances would fracture, and communities would face crises no one could have foreseen. Would the very greed that fueled the gold rush ultimately consume the lives it had created? The answer lay just beyond the horizon of the goldfields, poised to change everything once again. As gold fever intensified, the goldfields became a magnet for not just hopeful prospectors, but also for those with darker intentions. Gold thieves and conmen thrived amid the chaos, preying on the gullible miners who poured in with dreams of striking it rich. Scams ran rampant. Some fraudsters sold worthless claims or even fake nuggets, while others concocted elaborate schemes promising wealth with minimal effort. The desperate search for gold clouded judgment, leaving many traders untrustworthy and many miners utterly ruined. And the corruption didn't stop with con artists. Government officials and police officers, those who were supposed to uphold the law, often turned a blind eye to crime or, worse, actively participated in it. Reports surfaced of local authorities taking bribes to overlook illegal activities, including theft and gambling. In some cases, they even colluded with criminals, making it nearly impossible for honest miners to navigate the treacherous landscape of the goldfields. Justice was a fleeting idea. Those without connections or gold faced dire consequences. The psychological toll of this gold madness was profound. Gold fever, a term that captured the collective obsession, had a grip on men and women alike. It incited not just desire, but irrationality, leading some to abandon their families and responsibilities in pursuit of fleeting riches. Stories emerged of miners who, bitten by greed, spent every last penny on dubious schemes or relentless pursuits, convincing themselves they were just one more strike away from greatness. An obsession festered, completely consuming their lives. As expectations rose, so did disillusionment, leading some to madness when their dreams crumbled. Betrayal became a tragic hallmark of the gold rush era. Friends turned on one another, and partnerships shattered in the quest for wealth. One documented incident involved miners who, lured by tantalizing tales of golden opportunities, found themselves betrayed by their comrades. In a moment of desperation, they fell foul of their loyal allies, leading to violence that erupted in the camps, often with tragic results. Conflicts broke out over claims, which sometimes escalated into brutal confrontations. The rise of organized vigilante groups reflected a harsh reality. When law enforcement is corrupt or absent, miners band together, but often at a high cost of bloodshed. Desire warped human nature, weakening bonds once thought unbreakable. Notably, two factions often arose in mining camps: the schemers and the desperate. The schemers, skilled at manipulation, offered grand promises. The desperate, driven by dreams, mistook these hollow assurances for pathways to fortune. Thus, betrayal flourished, weaving a pattern of supposition and mistrust across the goldfields. As the 1860s approached, the landscape of the gold rush was marred by betrayal and disappointment. The expedition for wealth laid bare the brutality lurking beneath the surface of human ambition. The heart of the goldfields pulsed with greed, drawing in souls with dreams, but often spitting them out in despair. With lives lost to the greed of others and hope turned sour, a new question emerged. As miners toiled under increasingly harsh conditions, who would ultimately pay the steepest price for this relentless pursuit of wealth? Would a few families hide their secrets to survive, or would they succumb to the chaos? The answers lie in the darker corners of Australia's history, where the true cost of the gold rush began to unfold. What secrets would be revealed next? As the dust settled on the tumultuous years of the Great Australian Gold Rush, the landscape of Australia had irrevocably changed. The rush to extract gold ignited an economic transformation that laid the foundation for modern Australia. With wealth flowing into the economy, urbanization surged. In 1851, the population was around 400,000. By 1861, it had skyrocketed to over 1.5 million. Cities like Melbourne and Ballarat expanded rapidly, morphing from quiet towns to bustling hubs of commerce and culture. But it wasn't just the sheer number of inhabitants that transformed Australia, it was the diversity they brought. Migrants arrived from all corners of the globe, Europe, Asia, America, each contributing their customs, languages, and skills. Chinese miners, in particular, played a crucial role in the goldfields, bringing unique mining techniques that would influence the industry. Yet this influx triggered both opportunity and tension. Racial discrimination and riots against immigrant communities erupted, fueled by the competition for resources and jobs. The rush was not merely a gold rush, it was a cultural collision that reshaped societal norms and identities. Economically, the gold rush did more than create wealth, it spurred industrialization. By the late 1850s, demand for equipment and services skyrocketed. Factories emerged to produce mining tools, and infrastructure projects like railways expanded to connect remote goldfields to major cities. This industrial boom paved the way for a diversified economy, moving Australia from its pastoral roots into a more complex, modern economic landscape. However, the environmental consequences of this gold-driven frenzy were devastating. The rush led to rampant mining practices that scarred the land. Rivers were diverted, forests cleared, and landscapes forever altered to extract gold. Dredging, hydraulic mining, and other destructive methods not only stripped the earth of its resources, but also resulted in severe ecological damage. Soil erosion, polluted waterways, and wildlife displacement became the grim legacies of the gold fever, raising critical questions about human impact on nature. As the years rolled on, the gold rush revealed profound lessons about greed and human behavior. What started as dreams of prosperity twisted into a tale of betrayal and disillusionment. The insatiable desire for wealth drove men to betray friends, families, and even strangers. Trust eroded, leaving behind a complex web of societal issues that challenged communities. Yet among the chaos, stories emerged of solidarity and resilience. Those who navigated the challenges, who formed unions, built community halls, and supported each other, began to reshape the narrative of the gold rush from one solely of greed to one of strength and survival. Australia today carries the weight of this tumultuous time, reflective of the lessons learned from an era driven by avarice. The gold rush didn't merely change economies, it instilled a collective memory, a cautionary tale about the dual-edged blade of ambition. As we consider the profound impacts of this rush, one question remains. How many dreams turned to nightmares in the relentless pursuit of gold, and what unresolved legacies still linger in the very soil of Australia?